Hey everyone, welcome back to the Stoic Inspire channel. In today's video, we're diving into an incredibly important topic that might feel a bit uncomfortable, but it's necessary for personal growth and understanding what makes a healthy relationship. We're going to talk about 5 types of women you simply can't love, not because they're bad people, but because the dynamics just don't align for a healthy, fulfilling connection. Whether you're in a relationship or just looking to navigate future ones, this video will help you understand some red flags and ensure you're building relationships with people who truly align with your life. Let's get started. Section 1. The woman who doesn't value your time. Time is one of the most precious resources we have in life, and how we spend it speaks volumes about what we value. When it comes to relationships, time is not just about the minutes and hours we invest, but about the quality of that time and the respect for each other's schedules, commitments, and priorities. Unfortunately, one of the most detrimental dynamics in a relationship occurs when a woman doesn't value your time. She might be unaware, or she might be too caught up in her own world, but when someone repeatedly disregards your time, it signifies a deeper imbalance. In a healthy relationship, both parties should feel that their time is respected. It's not about expecting constant attention, but about finding a mutual understanding and balance that acknowledges each other's lives and responsibilities. When a woman doesn't value your time, it becomes evident in countless ways. Perhaps she's always late for meetings or plans with you, or maybe she cancels on you last minute without a solid reason. If this happens frequently, it signals a lack of respect for your time and consequently, a lack of respect for you. Time is a non-renewable resource, and once it's gone, you can never get it back. If you continuously make time for someone who doesn't reciprocate the same effort, you are slowly depleting your own resources, leaving you with a sense of frustration, resentment, and a feeling of unfulfillment. This type of woman may seem charming at first, with her ability to make you feel special in the moment, but when her actions don't align with her words, it creates a disconnect that can be hard to ignore. A woman who doesn't value your time might make you feel like you're constantly on standby, waiting for her to decide when or if she'll show up. She might make plans with you, but then break them without apology or understanding of how it affects you. This behavior is not only inconsiderate but also selfish, as it shows that she doesn't regard the importance of your own life and commitments. In a way, it's a form of emotional manipulation. The uncertainty of her actions leaves you wondering if you can rely on her, which ultimately undermines trust, a crucial foundation in any relationship. It's essential to recognize this behavior early on. If she consistently fails to value your time, it indicates a lack of effort to nurture the relationship or acknowledge your needs. This doesn't mean you should expect perfection or never encounter moments when things don't align due to work or personal matters. But when it becomes a pattern, you should take it as a red flag. In these situations, it's important to assess whether this dynamic is something you want to continue tolerating, or if it's time to let go and prioritize relationships where time is valued as a shared commitment. Furthermore, a woman who doesn't value your time may not make room for you in her life. She might always seem too busy, yet you'll notice her spending time on other things or people. This can lead to feelings of being taken for granted. Time isn't just about when you're together, but about how much effort someone is willing to put into creating space for you in their life. Relationships require compromise, effort, and understanding, especially when two people have different schedules, goals, and priorities. If you're the only one constantly bending over backward to make things work, while she shows little regard for your time or effort, it's a clear sign that she isn't fully invested in the relationship. Moreover, the emotional toll of being with someone who doesn't value your time can be heavy. It slowly chips away at your sense of worth and your confidence in the relationship. You may begin questioning whether you're important enough for her to put aside her distractions and make time for you. And when your needs go unmet, it can create a lingering sense of doubt about her feelings for you and about the long-term viability of the relationship. In the end, the woman who doesn't value your time doesn't just take away your minutes. She takes away your peace of mind and your ability to focus on what truly matters to you in life. So, if you find yourself constantly rearranging your life for someone who doesn't prioritize you in return, it's time to reassess. Your time is precious, and it should be shared with people who genuinely value and respect it. Relationships should be about mutual care and understanding, not about one person constantly giving while the other takes without consideration. When you meet someone who values your time, you'll feel it in the way they make space for you in their life, showing you that your presence is important to them, not just when it's convenient for them. If you're constantly chasing someone who doesn't value your time, you're investing in an emotional investment that will ultimately leave you drained, frustrated, and empty. Section 2. The woman who is emotionally unavailable. Emotionally unavailable women can be one of the most challenging types to navigate in relationships, often leaving you with more questions than answers. It's not that they're bad people or that they don't care. Rather, they're in a state of emotional blockage, which can manifest in different ways. At first, this might seem like a small hurdle. You may convince yourself that with enough time, patience, and understanding, you can break down her walls and create a deep emotional connection. But the truth is, emotional unavailability often stems from unresolved past trauma, fear of vulnerability, or a lack of readiness for any form of emotional commitment. At the core, an emotionally unavailable woman might seem distant, both physically and mentally. She may keep you at arm's length, never truly letting you in, despite the surface-level connection that might seem fine. You'll notice that even when she's physically present, her mind is elsewhere, or she shifts the conversation away from anything too personal or deep. Her responses to your emotional needs may feel shallow or disinterested, as if she can't connect with your deeper desires, struggles, or feelings. For example, when you open up about something that matters to you, she may brush it off, dismiss it, or offer surface-level comfort. This is because, for her, it's difficult to invest emotionally in a relationship when she hasn't fully healed from past wounds, or when she simply isn't ready to make the emotional leap. One of the most frustrating parts of being with someone who is emotionally unavailable is the constant feeling of uncertainty. You may find yourself questioning her feelings, wondering if she truly cares or if she's just in it for the company. Her behavior may be inconsistent, sometimes affectionate and other times distant, creating a confusing emotional roller coaster. It's hard to tell if the connection is real or if it's just a passing moment. You might begin to doubt your own worth, wondering if you're doing something wrong or if there's something about you that makes her avoid getting closer. But the reality is, this emotional distance is a reflection of her inability to engage on a deeper level, not a reflection of your worth as a person. Despite these signs, emotionally unavailable women can sometimes give mixed signals. At times, they may show moments of vulnerability or interest, leading you to believe that they might be opening up. However, these moments tend to be fleeting and often come with hesitation or an immediate withdrawal once the emotional stakes are raised. This can lead to cycles of hope and disappointment, where you're left feeling like you're always chasing something that seems just out of reach. It's not uncommon for her to say things like, "I'm not ready for a relationship," or "I'm just going through a lot right now." But these statements rarely change as time passes. They are signs that she hasn't fully dealt with her emotions, or that she's not willing to invest in something serious. And you might find yourself stuck in a perpetual state of waiting, hoping for change that may never come. It's important to recognize that while you may deeply care for her, love alone isn't enough to break down emotional barriers. You can't pour your energy into someone who isn't ready to receive it. When you stay in a relationship with an emotionally unavailable woman, you risk sacrificing your own emotional well-being. It's easy to lose sight of your needs, desires, and dreams while trying to navigate a relationship where emotional reciprocity is limited. You might find yourself constantly giving, waiting for her to meet you halfway, but without ever receiving the emotional intimacy you deserve. The danger lies in the fact that emotionally unavailable women often attract partners who are equally vulnerable or who have a strong desire to fix or save them. However, emotional availability is something that needs to come from within, and no amount of patience or love from another person can change this unless she chooses to do the internal work herself. Over time, staying in such a relationship can cause resentment, feelings of neglect, and even an erosion of your own self-esteem. Ultimately, the woman who is emotionally unavailable may leave you questioning your own emotional needs, and it's crucial to realize that no matter how much you care, you deserve someone who is willing to share themselves fully with you. Being with someone who is emotionally unavailable can become an exhausting cycle that prevents both of you from growing and thriving in a healthy, fulfilling relationship. When it's clear that she's unable or unwilling to meet you on an emotional level, it's important to let go, not out of bitterness or anger, but out of self-respect. Real love and connection require vulnerability, effort, and mutual emotional investment, things that can't be forced. Section 3. The woman who lacks self-respect. In relationships, one of the most important qualities for both partners is self-respect. It serves as the foundation for how we engage with ourselves and the world around us. When you encounter a woman who lacks self-respect, it's not just a red flag. It's a signal that the potential for a healthy, balanced relationship is at risk. The absence of self-respect is not necessarily about her value as a person, but more about how she perceives and treats herself, and consequently, how she expects others to treat her. A woman who struggles with self-respect often tends to accept behavior from others that diminishes her worth, and this acceptance sends a message to those around her that she is open to being mistreated or disregarded. This lack of self-respect may manifest in several ways. For one, she might tolerate toxic or abusive behavior in relationships, be it physical, emotional, or verbal. This behavior isn't a reflection of her character, but rather a reflection of her internal struggle with self-worth. She may feel unworthy of respect, or may believe that love and attention must be earned through submission or by sacrificing her own needs and desires. As a result, she might compromise her principles, values, or beliefs to please others, especially in romantic situations. This dynamic can be emotionally draining for both parties involved because it's not based on mutual admiration or respect, but rather on an unhealthy pattern of validation seeking. Moreover, a woman who lacks self-respect may exhibit a lack of boundaries. She might allow others to invade her personal space or make demands on her time and energy without setting limits. This boundarylessness can be a sign of deep-seated insecurity, often stemming from childhood experiences, past relationships, or societal conditioning that has convinced her that her feelings and needs don't matter. In relationships, boundaries are essential for both emotional safety and growth, and when they are absent, there is no clear line between what's acceptable and what's not. This can lead to situations where her partner, or even friends and family, take advantage of her lack of self-respect. Another common trait of a woman who lacks self-respect is the pattern of self-sabotage. She may push away people who genuinely care about her simply because she doesn't believe she deserves love or support. Her actions may be guided by fear, fear of failure, fear of rejection, or fear of not being good enough. As a result, she might engage in behaviors that undermine her success or happiness. This can also affect her romantic life, where she may settle for unhealthy relationships or avoid love altogether due to fear of being hurt or rejected again. Ultimately, this leads to a cycle of disappointment and emotional emptiness, reinforcing the belief that she is unworthy of the kind of love that is both fulfilling and nurturing. In many cases, the woman who lacks self-respect may become a people pleaser. She might prioritize the happiness of others over her own, to the point of neglecting her own needs, desires, and well-being. She may always say yes, even when she wants to say no, because the thought of disappointing others causes her anxiety. In this dynamic, she may place others on pedestals, constantly seeking approval and validation, even at the expense of her own peace of mind. While people-pleasing can stem from a genuine desire to make others happy, it often comes from a deeper fear of rejection or abandonment. The problem with this is that over time, it can erode her sense of identity, leaving her feeling lost and disconnected from her true self. Now, let's not mistake the lack of self-respect for simple insecurity or low self-esteem. It's far more complex than that. It's a pattern that has often been ingrained over time, whether through negative experiences or a lack of healthy role models. A woman who lacks self-respect isn't inherently bad or unworthy of love. Rather, she might be in need of healing, self-reflection, and growth. While she may be kind, caring, and loving, her actions and decisions are often guided by the belief that she is less deserving than others. And this, unfortunately, often leads to relationships that are unbalanced, unhealthy, and, in many cases, emotionally toxic. The tragedy of being with someone who lacks self-respect is that no matter how much love and admiration you may feel for her, it is impossible to fill the void of self-worth that only she can address. No one can heal or fix someone who doesn't believe in their own value, and often your attempts to help may be misinterpreted or rejected. A relationship built on the foundation of one partner's lack of self-respect is one where you're constantly trying to lift them up, only to watch them continue to fall back into unhealthy patterns. Over time, this dynamic can lead to burnout, frustration, and resentment, as you can't pour from an empty cup. In relationships, both partners must bring self-respect to the table. This means honoring each other's boundaries, supporting one another's personal growth, and maintaining a deep sense of self-worth. If you're with someone who lacks self-respect, it's essential to have open, honest conversations about self-esteem and self-worth, encouraging her to seek therapy, self-reflection, or any other form of support that will help her build a stronger sense of self-love is important. But understand that you cannot be the one to fix her. She must be the one to put in the work. Ultimately, the woman who lacks self-respect needs to embark on a journey of healing, self-discovery, and self-love. While you may want to be there for her, you must also protect your own emotional health and well-being. Love is most powerful when it's shared equally, where both partners come together as individuals with strong senses of self. If she's unable or unwilling to work on herself, it's crucial to recognize that a relationship with her could end up stifling your own growth. Love can't thrive in an environment where one person doesn't believe they are worthy of it. Section 4. The woman who has no ambition. In the realm of relationships, ambition is often seen as a vital ingredient for personal and collective growth. When we talk about ambition, we're not merely referring to career goals or financial success, but rather the internal drive to evolve, better oneself, and pursue something greater in life. It's the spark that fuels passion, resilience, and the desire to create meaningful change. When a woman lacks ambition, She may lack the internal fire that propels her to strive for more, to push boundaries, and to make an impact, not only on her own life, but on the world around her. This isn't about judging anyone's circumstances or dismissing those who are content with their lives as they are. Rather, it's about recognizing that ambition is a shared force in a relationship. Without it, the relationship itself may stagnate, because the essential component of mutual growth begins to wither. A woman who has no ambition often doesn't see beyond the present. She might be content with the status quo, living life on autopilot, without envisioning or desiring a future that's radically different from where she currently stands. This isn't necessarily a flaw. It could be a sign of contentment or comfort. But for someone who's passionate about growth, whether personal, professional, or emotional, this can create a disconnect. Relationships thrive when both partners are moving forward, individually and together. Ambition allows couples to align their goals, challenge each other, and support each other through life's ups and downs. Without that mutual drive, one partner might feel like they're walking ahead while the other remains behind. But let's be clear, ambition doesn't always have to look the same for everyone. Some might chase careers, others might pursue creative endeavors, and some might find fulfillment in nurturing their families. However, the absence of any drive to improve or evolve is different. It's about the absence of any sort of internal compass, the lack of desire to learn, grow, or become something more than what one is today. If she isn't interested in self-improvement or pursuing goals that challenge her limits, there's a risk of the relationship turning into something stagnant, where both partners' potential goes untapped. In a relationship with someone who lacks ambition, there's a tendency for one partner to feel like they are dragging the other along. The weight of constantly trying to inspire someone to take action, to dream, or to pursue something meaningful can be exhausting. It's like being with someone who is content with mediocrity when you want more. You can't force ambition on anyone, and it's not your job to push someone to find their drive. People must develop their own sense of purpose and direction. Without this, you may find yourself investing time and energy into someone who isn't as motivated to grow or to achieve anything beyond their comfort zone. Furthermore, the lack of ambition can create a sense of complacency in the relationship. Relationships should encourage growth, evolution, and exploration. But if one partner has no drive to make improvements in their own life, this can lead to frustration, resentment, and eventual disconnection. The drive to build something together, to conquer challenges, to make dreams come true. This can be a powerful unifying force. But without ambition, the excitement of building a shared future becomes dulled, and a sense of stagnation sets in. Another factor to consider is that ambition often breeds confidence. Ambitious individuals believe in their abilities to change their situation, improve their skills, and achieve their dreams. Without this, there can be a deep lack of confidence and a tendency toward dependency on others. A woman without ambition might not take ownership of her own life, or may rely too heavily on others to pull her forward. This can create a dynamic of imbalance, where one partner feels overburdened by the responsibility of guiding both individuals' futures. What makes the situation more complex is the notion of what ambition truly means. It's not just about external achievements, it's also about inner growth. Some people might not be ambitious in a conventional sense, but they may have a deep drive to cultivate personal growth, to nurture relationships, or to master inner peace and happiness. This form of ambition, one that focuses on emotional intelligence, mindfulness, or personal fulfillment, can be just as valuable in a relationship. The key is that there is a desire to become a better version of oneself. If this ambition isn't present, it can be difficult to form a deep connection where both people are actively evolving in the same direction. When ambition is lacking, it's easy for complacency to set in. Complacency creates a static environment where nothing new is explored and everything starts to feel predictable. For someone who thrives on challenge, growth, and pushing limits, this environment can feel suffocating. Ambition in a partner isn't just about career success. It's about creating a future together that's full of purpose and fulfillment. When one partner lacks this drive, it can lead to feelings of being unfulfilled or unsupported in the relationship. In the end, ambition, whether in career, personal development, or relationships, is a critical ingredient in a thriving, dynamic partnership. Without it, you may find yourself longing for more while your partner remains unmoved. Relationships are about sharing a vision for the future, growing together, and challenging each other to become the best versions of yourselves. A woman without ambition can bring other valuable traits to the table, but if she isn't willing to evolve or strive for anything beyond what she is now, the relationship may struggle to thrive in the long term. It's important to ask yourself if you're ready to accept a future where growth is stunted, or if you're hoping for something more dynamic, where both partners can evolve and support each other's dreams. Section 5. The Uncommitted Woman. In any relationship, commitment is the cornerstone that provides stability, trust, and emotional growth. But when you encounter a woman who is uncommitted, it's like building a house on sand. At first, everything might seem okay, but eventually, the cracks will show. The uncommitted woman is someone who isn't ready to invest emotionally, or she may have reservations about forming a deeper connection. This doesn't necessarily mean she's a bad person. Often, it's simply that she's not in the right place for a relationship, or her priorities are elsewhere. However, the problem arises when she leads you on or gives mixed signals, leaving you in a constant state of confusion. What makes the uncommitted woman difficult to love is her inability or unwillingness to make the relationship a priority. She might keep you at arm's length, emotionally unavailable or distant, not opening up fully or making real plans for the future. At times, she'll show affection, and other times, she'll retreat into herself, creating an emotional roller coaster that is draining for anyone involved. The unpredictability of this behavior can leave you constantly questioning your own worth and the future of the relationship. You may find yourself waiting for her to make a decision or give a clear indication of how she feels, but more often than not, you're left in a state of limbo, uncertain of where you stand. A woman who is uncommitted may also have a fear of vulnerability, making it impossible for her to truly connect on a deeper level. It could stem from past experiences, trust issues, or simply a fear of losing her independence. She might enjoy the attention and the companionship, but the thought of truly investing her heart into a relationship scares her, and that fear often prevents her from being fully present in the connection. For someone who is genuinely seeking love, this can be emotionally exhausting. It becomes a never-ending cycle of longing for a deeper connection, while she holds back, keeping you at arm's length. It's important to recognize that this type of woman, while potentially wonderful in many ways, is not capable of offering the kind of stable and loving relationship that you deserve. If you find yourself constantly trying to earn her commitment or waiting for her to come around, you may be setting yourself up for disappointment. Her lack of commitment may be a reflection of her own fears or insecurities, but ultimately, it's not something you can fix or change. If you want a relationship where both partners are fully invested and committed, being with an uncommitted woman will leave you feeling unfulfilled, perpetually uncertain, and emotionally drained. The key here is self-awareness and recognizing that love isn't about forcing someone to be what you need them to be. It's about finding someone who shares your values, your vision, and your desire for emotional growth together. The uncommitted woman may be a beautiful and intriguing person, but if she's not ready to invest in a relationship the way you are, it's time to let go. Sometimes walking away is the most loving thing you can do, for both yourself and her. Your time, energy, and love deserve to be shared with someone who's equally willing to commit and build something lasting. As we wrap up this discussion on the 5 types of women you can't love, it's important to remember that love and relationships should be built on trust, commitment, and mutual respect. Recognizing these patterns can help you avoid heartache and focus on finding a partner who truly shares your values and vision for the future. The journey of love isn't always easy, but understanding these dynamics can guide you toward healthier, more fulfilling connections. If you found this video insightful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more content on personal growth, relationships, and self-improvement. Thanks for watching, and remember, true love begins with loving yourself first.